Hey, Grant Cardone here. I'm so excited to be sharing with you the Sterling Report. This is Dennis Anderson. He's doing a show on Grant Cardone TV called the Sterling Report. If you haven't watched it, you need to stop and go back, look at the archive shows. This guy's going to talk to you about flipping, selling, fixing, and wholesaling homes, right?
Yep.
Single family only? Mostly single family?
Single family and multifamily.
So Dennis, great to have you here. How did you get in this, first of all, and what makes you the guy?
I actually been at this business for the past probably about 4 or 5 years. I actually come from banking. I did banking, doing just loans and acquisitions and different things like that back in Omaha. Finally decided to take a step out on faith.
You're like, I'm on the wrong side of
this.
this.
I'm on the wrong side of this. I'm seeing some other side here. So
right.
Was doing deals, started off wholesaling, was doing deals, but then they started to become more consistent. So I decided about 3.5 years ago to just step out on faith and go out and do it full time. So I've been doing the business full time for the past 3.5 years.
What was your first deal? My
first deal was just a small single family home. Got it under contract for about I think $8,000 and then wholesaled it for $10,000. So I mean,
Did you fix it?
No,
you just went in there, found somebody.
Yeah.
Now you sold. How do you buy a house for $8,000?
Oh man, in Omaha.
Man, that's a kitchen,
crazy.
Man. Huh?
In Omaha, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
In Omaha that are like that. I mean, like I have some under contract now that are like, $5,000 and $6,000, and the investors are buying them for $12,000 and $15,000. And you're getting, of course, that spread in between when you're.
Okay, so you're buying something for $8,000. You're selling it to a guy. You're not selling it to an end user. You're selling it to somebody that wants to rent.
Now, you're selling it to somebody who wants to fix it up.
Okay.
And then, of course, rent it out.
Okay.
This is what you're doing. So I'm not actually buying the property. All I'm doing is flipping the contract. So I'm getting it in the contract. I'm taking an equitable interest in that property.
Yeah. So how do you do that? You come to me. Let's say I have a house for sale. I guess these aren't very sophisticated people that you're dealing with.
I mean, there's the people that are just looking to really get rid of their property. Either they've gone through foreclosure, either they just have a property that they've inherited, something like that, and they're just looking to sell. They don't want anything to do with it.
And how do you find that property?
We do a lot of direct mail. Direct mail has worked really well for us.
So it's We Buy Homes. That's like that sticker you see on the telephone pole. We Buy Homes.
We Buy Homes. We'll pull a list of like absentee owners and we'll mail to them. I always tell, I do real estate mentoring as well, and I always tell people the fortune is in the follow-up. And it definitely is, because sometimes you have to hit that list about a good 4, 5, 6 times in order to get a seller to get back in contact with you to make that deal happen. But control the deal.
So what does that call sound like? I'm like, hey man, I saw your thing on the telephone pole, or I got your direct mail. What's the deal? How are you going to buy my house?
Yeah, we'll start to go into, we'll get the property address. We use software called RealFlow. That we'll get that software.
RealFlow.
Yeah, RealFlow. It's actually a part of the Fortune Builders company. We'll get that, we'll input that, we'll start to run market data, we'll figure out what can this property sell for at the top of the market. We'll find out once we visit the property what the
And you're always thinking about selling to an investor.
Yeah, we're always
not an end user.
Investor. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the key here. He's selling to people. He's not selling to the end user. He's selling to a guy like me that says, hey, I can pay 12, spend 4 on it.
Right.
I'll be in at 16 and I can rent it for $800 a month, right? Now is that investor?
Or flip it.
Or he'll flip it again.
He'll flip it again. Yeah. So I mean, once he comes in and buys it for me at 12, maybe he'll put 15 or 20 into it, and okay, then he can go sell it for 50 or 60. But I mean, there's some out there to where you can get into a property for $75,000, like a flip that we did. We got in at 75. We put 20 into it, and then we sold for 130. So I mean, you have situations like that you can make happen too.
So you're looking at a deal every day. I mean, this is what you do every day. This guy's looking at deals every day. For those of you out there, he's going to do a show. He's going to do a show every week for you about what he's doing, what he's learning, how the marketplace is changing, the mistakes he's making. That's why I'm so happy to have you on the show, man, because so many people ask me about this part of real estate that I don't understand. It's not the game I'm playing.
Right.
But this is a great entryway for so many people that don't have $80,000 to put down on a multifamily deal like I'm talking about. So let me just walk through a deal, dude, because you got my attention right now. I'm like, man, I mean, how many of these could I do, So I'm looking for, let's say you were in Miami, okay? I mean, this is an expensive market, but when you go to some of those old homes over here that haven't been done since 1950, I'm looking for abandoned, absentee, foreclosures,
absentee, foreclosure, code violations, tax defaults.
Code violations. How do and where do I find that? Is that where I use RealFlow for that?
Yeah, you can use RealFlow. You can use that. Of course, you can go to, sometimes the county assessor will have things. I have a great relationship with our title company. They provide me with those lists as well. And then there's also a couple of investors, Chris Bruce, who's actually down in Tampa. I have a list that I get from him, and he's able to pull those lists across the country, and we're able to send out those mailers and get it done.
So I locate something over here. I call the guy and say, hey, I'm interested in buying your house.
Right.
I might have to call him every day, twice a day. Hey, man, I really got a buyer for your house, or I am the buyer for your house. Right. Is that the pitch?
Yeah, that's the pitch.
I'm the buyer for the house. I'm qualified to buy the house. I want to buy the house. This is going to be an easy close. This is where your sales skills and communication skills come in.
Sell the deal, control the deal.
Don't buy the deal, sell the deal.
Sell the deal.
Sell the deal that you're going to buy them and solve their problem. Yeah. They clearly have a problem. But I'm not actually going to buy the deal. I'm going to get a contract to control this piece of property. So those of you out there don't have any money, but you got courage and you got creativity and you got persistence, this is a way to make money.
Wholesaling is the awesome way to do it.
So you're going to take this deal, you're going to get a contract on it. Okay, so what does that contract look like, and who prepares that?
Actually, we have a contract that we use, basically a standard purchase and sales agreement. Or if a seller, maybe kind of pushes back some, we'll do an option agreement. That option agreement is a little bit more open-ended.
Okay, it
allows them to still actually find a buyer for their property if they just don't want you tying up their property for a certain period of time. So you can either, and I kind of use that as kind of like a last resort, maybe as I'm leaving an appointment, okay, well, what do you think about this? And then we'll go into the option. That usually nails it.
And you're going to be teaching people how to do this in the show. Okay, so let's say I get a guy, he's like, I want to sell. How long do I get that contract for me to go find a buyer? Because the second part of this is now I got to find a buyer.
Got to find a buyer. So it's good if you have a buyer's list, and I'll be talking about that too, how you build your buyer's list and how you network. But it's typically starting off, when you're new, just coming into it, 30 days is great. Once you have your buyer's list and you have their criteria and what they're looking for, you can shorten that to about 7 to 14 days.
Yeah.
For them to walk the property, close, get rid of any title issues and title search in about 7 to 14 days.
And I might be able to buy some time in that 30 days.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I'm sure you bought some time. Man, we found this and we found this and we got this problem and we got this code violation. Oh my God.
Right.
So we're really interested. We really want to buy the deal. And you're using those as opportunities, not as problems to find your buyer.
There you go. Yeah.
So how do I make sense of the money? What kind of math am I trying to do here? Let's say I got a deal under contract for 30 grand.
30 grand.
Okay.
So if that property, maybe that ARV is, you get that property.
ARV is what?
After repair value.
Okay.
So maybe that property's ARV is 120. Okay. You got a great property at 30 grand. This happens all the time in Omaha, in Kansas City as well. So you've got that property's 30 grand. Maybe you put properties that low are probably going to require about 25, 30 to put into it. And then you're selling that property for, between 150 and 120 grand.
To an end user now, or to an investor?
You got the property under contract for 30 grand.
Right.
So you can go back. There's enough spread in there to where if you wanted to make, a $10,000 or $15,000 spread, you could.
Yeah. So you could be doing two things. You could be doing two marketings right now.
Yeah.
One is, hey, I'm looking for somebody to invest in this. 30 grand is going to probably make you 100% on your money.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Well, no, not 30. 40. I got 30 in it. I want to make 10. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
How much you want to make on that deal? Because you don't want to be greedy. You want to roll.
Yeah, if you want to roll. I try to go in with a minimum of 10 that I want to make on that deal. Now, sometimes, like in the markets that you're in, that may not happen. You may only do 5, 5 being a minimum. You may have to come down a bit. But you have markets like, there's Tampa, there's Miami, where people are clearing, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 assignment fees. That's a fee that you get, that spread that's in between there. Same thing in Atlanta and Dallas. The fees are so much higher out there, when you're doing those deals.
Does the investor care how much money you're making?
No. And that comes with being transparent with them.
Yeah.
Once you're developing that relationship with them, they know they're getting a good deal. That spread is there, so they don't.
Yeah. So I'm under contract at 30, dude. I got legal. I got, I'm out searching every day. I look at 90 deals. I get 2.
Yeah.
They know, right? You didn't do this. I did. I brought it to you. Really, the issue is how much money you're going to make on the deal.
That's it. Yeah.
Dude, this is going to be awesome, man. Okay. How many shows have you done so far?
What have we done? I think 3 or 4 so far.
Yeah. This cat's going to teach you. Dennis Anderson's going to teach you how to, what you need to find, where you need to be looking. I know he's going to tell you this. Know your market. I know he's going to tell you, don't come to Miami, man. Don't go to Nebraska. Don't go, don't go to San Diego. Do you think every city's got its opportunity?
Every city has its opportunities. I never like to hear, well, I can't find any deals. Yes, you can. There's different techniques and things that I teach that help you find those deals. So you can find a deal in any market. I don't care if it's up or down. The opportunity is there.
What else? What else we're going to be doing here? A property, B property, C properties.
Yeah. So I mean, talking about getting into the whole multifamily game. I know you've built, you've built the company there, the commercial company, $350 million portfolio. So I kind of want to know a little bit more about this.
Well, you can't do that $8,000.
No, you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that. So that's kind of how you.
But you know what? If I was 25 years old, 30 years old right now, and I didn't. When I was 30 years old, I didn't have any extra money left over. I was working my ass off every day. I didn't have money left over. So I'm like, I never thought about the flip thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't even open to me as an opportunity. So I never thought about, oh my God, I'm gonna buy this house, I'm gonna fix it.
Right.
I just didn't have any of that. I mean, I think there's probably a lot of people out there, well, how do I fix it? But you're saying, you're actually not doing the fix. You're presenting it to somebody else that wants to make money. Yeah. I mean, the multifamily deals, I'm buying a deal that produces cash flow from day one. It's a much more conservative play than what you have. Mine's much more long-term.
Right.
You're getting in, getting out, getting your money, and moving on.
Yeah, you got that serious buy and hold that's right there. With a lot of those properties, are they A, B, class?
Well, they weren't in the beginning. In the beginning, they were D plus and C minus and C plus.
Yeah.
And I was buying what I called C, but they were probably D's.
Okay.
But I'm bragging about it. Man, it's really. But the location helped it.
That's good.
But actually, I knew a guy that no education. He dropped out of high school. He owned 1,000 units, South Chula Vista, San Diego, California. And I said, man, why you buy all this slum? I mean, it was ghetto stuff. And he's like, hey man, poor people are always poor people. I said, what? He's like, poor people are always poor people. They need a place to live. And that guy owned 1,000 units. This was 25 years ago in San Diego. And rents were $500, $600, $700. They're probably $1,100 now. And he probably owns them now.
Yeah.
So he's got 1,000 units just pumping in. And so when I saw that, I'm like, oh man, I gotta scale this out to get enough product. The piece I haven't done that you've done is, and that I think is so much more achievable for so many people, is get in. I mean, when you talk about a $5,000 house, I'm like, that's got to be worth something to somebody.
There you go.
Who's buying that deal? I mean, like, the investor's looking for what kind of return on that deal?
They're looking for
100%.
About 100% return. They're looking for on that deal. They're looking for, of course, those low areas. They're looking for. They don't mind doing the whole Section 8 thing. Which can be a
government subsidized. So they're going to get a check from the government for $400, and she's going to pay $200.
Right, and above market all the time. They're always doing that. So they're really looking for those. Then you have them in kind of like the mid-level areas too, where they can get in, and they're just looking to flip. They're not looking to rent. They're just looking to flip.
But another option, to me, it would seem to be, okay, let's say I buy a house for $30,000.
Right.
Okay, I fix it. Let's say I spend $10,000 on it, and I got 40 grand in that house now, and I go to Rob, and I say, Rob, man, you want to own your own home? Yeah, man, but I'm not qualified. Okay, good, but I'm going to help you out here. So I got 40 grand in this deal. I'll give it an option to buy, right? Lease option. Yeah, I need $5,000 down.
Right.
Can I do that?
I mean, do that. That's another strategy too. As well, if that seller, it can be with that property. It can even be with a higher level property. If they're not open to that price, maybe they're open to a lease option. Maybe they're open to getting a large down payment and payments over a period.
Yeah, because this makes them feel good about not renting.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that's perfect. They can control that a little bit more.
So let's say I paid cash for it. Let's figure I could pay cash for this and somehow come up with 40 grand. Maybe I got 3 or 4 investors, right? Yep. So let's say, and I tell this guy I need divided by 12. Divided by what? I want to give him 3 years?
3 years, yeah. About 3 years. I mean, we've had some people that have done it in 2. Like I know I have one. She did it a year ago. She's in a couple months she'll be done paying.
So I got 40 grand in that deal, but I need more than 40 grand. So I'm gonna tell him, hey man, I'm gonna sell you this house for 80,000. Right? Right. I need $5,000 down. Don't ever be late.
Yep.
Don't jack me. Jack somebody else. Don't pay the car dealer. Don't pay somebody, but don't miss me. And then I'm going to give him payments on $75,000 divided by, let's say 15 years. That's 180 months. $416 a month payments.
There you go.
Okay? Yeah. I need $5,000 and $460, and don't ever be late, man. You're late. I'm taking that house back.
And that's the thing about lease options too. A lot of people use that. If you default, don't ever default, because then you lose. Of course, you lose that option.
I don't default.
No, the buyer, of course, doesn't default. They lose that option deposit. Then you're back out there marketing that property. So it's kind of like a whole turnover thing. Don't ever default. You won't have to put that.
Yeah, because if I did that 8 times on the $5,000, I got all my money back.
Yeah, you got all your money back.
And I'm renting that thing out forever. Yep. So the question now is, can you find the property? Dennis is going to show you how to do that. Okay. What do you need to look for before you close? What does a contract look like? What does legal look like? What does the title look like? I mean, those are things he's going to educate you on the Sterling Report to make sure you don't make any mistakes. And if you do make mistakes, you don't make them over and over and over again.
Right.
Dude, I if you ever find some deals, man, like we could buy 50 or 60 or 70 at one time.
Yeah, I will do that.
I like that. And if I can help you, when you're doing the multifamily deal, when you start breaching over, there's so much property right here in this town that I don't want to touch because it's just like problematic.
Right. That's what my driver said coming over here. He said there's a lot of things here you just don't want to mess with.
Yeah, but when you got water on one side and the Everglades on the other, sooner or later you want to mess with them because that's just going to become very valuable property. So, hey man, I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Hey, watch the show, the Sterling Report. It's going to show you how to make money in real estate if you're just getting started, if you don't have a lot of money, if you don't have a lot of credit. You know guys that have done this with no credit, right?
No credit.
Okay. No credit, bad credit, bad credit.
Bad credit, same thing.
People that have defaulted and went bankrupt, right? Okay. The deals are out there. Your eyes need to be wide open. And Dennis is telling you, man, you got to know how to communicate, know how to sell, know how to control the cycle so you can get property that'll make you money. Tune into the Sterling Report.